Good morning, everyone. This is Rafegal. We are finishing off our last Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Randomizer tutorial video, starting on the moon. So, this is the second set of videos I'm doing. The first one, I got a Fusoya and a full Berserker party really early. It was really powerful. It made certain parts of the game pretty trivial, which is fine. But it meant we didn't get to talk about these lovely mages much. So this time, we're doing that. At this point, we have all of the mages, only the mages, and we are just looking for the Baron key, I believe. Yes. We have checked everywhere on Earth. So at this point, we're just trying to clear out the moon, clear out Baron, and then we'll be good. So Baigan is going to cast Wall after we do our first spell. So we're just going to make sure that we're using spells that don't actually care about Wall. At this point, our party is pretty obscene as far as damage output goes. We have Bahamut, we have Nuke on multiple characters, we have Meteor. We have White. So if we want to do a ton of damage, we can. Forum needs to stop dying. That would be nice. Meteor takes a long time to cast. Also, I'm pretty sure I forgot to turn my battle speed back down after the last fight, which could be part of the problem here. There we go. We're at an obscenely high level, so a lot of this section is just going to be basically making sure that our non-tanky characters can survive while spamming high-end spells. Line that up quick. At this point, most of our characters have all of their spells, so we're just going to kind of do a little rearrange for the ones that they might actually use to be at the top, and to make sure that they're relatively consistent between everybody. Nuke. Quake. There we go. And exit. So that's one boss down. And obviously a ninja star is not the Baron key. So we have to now progress into the actual lunar depths. The other thing we could technically have to look for at this point is the Mist Dragon, which is really unfortunate. We're going to go ahead and go straight in, and we're going to start from the bottom. hey, there's our Sid that we wanted a long time ago and is way too low level to matter now. I think I accidentally double input there and kept his gear, but I don't think it matters much because we shouldn't have much more gear to get. Okay, so we're heading straight down because the spots that we've got left, basically I don't want to have to rewatch the character cutscene if I died. We do have squishy characters, so that is a consideration. And a few rude bosses. I mean, we do have some some bosses left that could kind of screw us up. Not a lot, though. Not a lot. We've got a lot of the really bad ones out of the way. And a lot of the really long ones out of the way. We still have the King Queen Evelyn, which is a free boss, pretty much. We have Hailden, who you generally want to spam magic against, which we might be pretty good at. Let's see, we have CPU, who in a really high hit point spot can be problematic for magic users. But that just means we need to be creative. And I do enjoy being creative. We have the elements. We have one of the Mylon fights left. We have Calbrenna, which would be very easy. We have Mist Dragon. Water Hag. Hailden. Almost vanilla. Big trick here. Do not use summons against Hailden. Hailden has very specific counters to a lot of different things. Regular magic is the only thing that it does not counter. So, nuke. And white go a long way. And it should not take long. If you use a summon, it counters with Quake. So if you do want to use summons, you'll want to cast Float ahead of time as kind of a workaround. If you use physical attacks, he counters with Slow, which is not a huge deal. Saving time by not using a cabin. Okay. Did I still forget to turn the battle speed down? Should have just done nuke there. So yeah, he's gonna count down. This script is pretty straightforward. Countdown to 0. When he gets to the end of the countdown, he's going to use Mega Nuke, So get wall up on your whole party, you're good. That's it. That's the whole script. We may just be able to finish him in a race at this point, and honestly, we probably could have if we spammed that instead of doing the walls. But there's something really satisfying about getting the walls up. There's our Baron. Okay, so we don't need to do the rest of this, and we've got the levels we need to very much not have to do the rest of this. So at this point, Baron Castle should be pretty negligible. Even the castle boss in the basement that we have to fight, the Odin spot, as it were. So the first thing we're going to be fighting is the Baigan spot, which we did have the ability to see who it was at the very beginning. We're going to go ahead and save just to make sure we don't have to come back from the moon again. I am going to quick pop in here just to see. So this shop is only unlocked once you have the Baron key, which means you can do things, or that it has some pretty good stuff typically. And yeah, that's actually pretty good stuff. So we're going to buy 5 of these. And just equip them across the board, because Sorcerer Robe is the best equipment for casters. Except for the White Robe for a White Mage. That's the one exception. I forgot that Tella still had the glass helm on. That should have been on Palom or Porum. Since they are both in the front and I care about them actually surviving. And we'll double check quick. I'm not expecting anything. Yeah, no. The main reason I stopped to do that, even though we have good equipment, is because we still hadn't found 2 things. And I don't know if you could, I don't think you can actually buy white robes there, but Sorcerer Robe is one thing we had not seen anywhere. And there's not very many shops left. So it is one of the higher end gated shops because of the fact that it's hidden behind a key item. So equivalent of like the underground shops and the moon shop. Okay, so there's 2 spots left. Baigan, which like I said, I think I'm remembering it as being like Rubicant or something. We'll see if I'm remembering right from when I started the video. Yep. Which we've already fought Rubicant, so this is actually the Elements fight. The Elements fight is the 4 Elemental Fiends again, which is nice because it means it's split up between the 4 fights. I think this guy is undead, so we should be able to just... Nope. I am wrong. He is weak to holy, but he is not undead. None of these boss spots have more than a few thousand points, so I'm really not worried about it. We're just going to nuke the crap out of them, literally. And actually, I'm gonna real quick toggle this. Because I would like Rydia to go first. When possible. Now, technically, we don't actually need to go beat the boss here. This is one of those tricks. The Keinazo fight also has about 5,000 hit points, and we're just going to go up and cast Nuke on it. Whatever it is, does not matter what the boss is at this point. However, our objective is not to beat Keinazo. Our objective is to beat the Odin spot. The Odin spot has 20,000 hit points, is a little scary. And a lot of times you'd want to go save first, but we're level 50-something, and have Nuke on a bunch of characters. So, okay, Mom Bomb actually means that we're dealing with about 30,000 hit point spot. But again, we're just gonna completely erase it with magic. Mom Bomb has a little bit more hit points than the average boss to account for the extra stuff with its exploding phase. But with this party, it doesn't matter. And you can also hopefully at this point see, you know, Cecil was doing about the same damage in the very end as some of these characters are doing with like Nuke and stuff. But the rest of the characters in my Berserker party have or had a lot lower range than this. Like, we're doing 7,000 on our lowest end character at this point. Okay. I believe... Oh, that's right, we can't go out yet. So since we can't go out, and there's not really a good way to go out, we're just going to go ahead and finish this now, and this will take us outside. But we've got the objective done. Otherwise, we would have had to walk back in when we were done. Yeah, Calbrana does. So we're just gonna... I mean, I guess I was wrong. I lied. We're not nuking this. There's 6 of them, so we need to use Bahamut instead. I haven't really had a good opportunity to talk about Calbrana because I think we killed them really quickly both times. Calbrana, there's kind of a trick to it. The first phase of it are not, some of them are not considered bosses, which is weird. They're the only boss that really has that situation where half of it is boss and half of it is not starting out. When there are only dolls of one color left, they will counterattack by summoning the big doll, by forming into a big doll. So the trick is to take all of them out at once, or ideally use an hourglass to stop the ones that have higher hit points. And generally just try and take them out in one hit so that they can't actually counter. Okay, so we're going to do a real quick check to see what we've got. We want those ethers up at the top. and we want the crystal at the top. The rest does not matter. Okay. And I did not turn the battle speed, and actually we don't want the battle speed turned down too low. So this actually works out really well. So last time we used a strategy where we berserked our entire party. Obviously that does not work in this situation. So the goal is to lock Zeromus, or we're not trying to lock Zeromus down, we're just trying to race him. There are 4 phases to Zeromus. At the end of phase 2, at about 60,000 hit points, Zeromus will stop and fully heal himself as a counterattack. However, he can't counterattack if you're using wall, if you're reflecting magic back at him. So, what we're gonna do, we're gonna start off by using a direct spell on the very first action to reduce the power of his first Big Bang. Then we're going to set up a wall and reflect spells off of the wall. And the reason we're doing that is because when you reflect a spell, he can't counter it. And what that means if you can't counter it, let's see. Wait for his true colors to emerge before we do anything. Goes a little slow because we have battle speed down, but that'll let us be a little more technical. So we're gonna cast Wall on Rosa because she's the most likely to survive here. We're going to set up a reflected nuke here. We're going to cast Slow directly. Now when we cast Slow here, he's going to counter with Nuke. So we're going to wait. And that person should survive. And we're going to cast a Cure, hopefully before the Big Bang goes off. And from here, we're just going to reflect spells. We're going to be as aggressive as possible. And because we're so this first one, we might kill Tella, that's it. It should not kill anyone else, because we nerfed it. Yep. So now, all we have to do is do 60,000 damage before he does another one. And with the damage output here, it's not that hard. It's about 7 spells. This basically lets us skip most of his phases, and is generally pretty ridiculous. He's probably going to be... I think this should do it. Just in case, I'm gonna go ahead and toss a Cure 4. No, we're good. So this reflect strategy is technically faster than the berserk strategy, and is a little bit more powerful. However, it does require a higher level party to be efficient, both because of the casting damage and because you have to be able to survive the big bangs. And these characters have a lot lower hit points. You're usually not going to have 5 mages in the party like this. Usually you have 3 or 4 mages, or 3 mages, usually good mages. And then you have maybe a physical character with a little more hit points and an agility. I didn't really go into agility anchoring again this time, but we put our slowest character in the middle. That's it. You want to generally aim for Zeromus, you want to aim for 14. That's your perfect agility anchor. Otherwise, just go as low as possible. So yeah, that's how you abuse the counter. The fact that Zeromus's hit points are created artificially high because of a counterattack. We abuse that here and just take him out. Now, you can technically do what they call a hybrid strat as well, which is when you use both physical attacks and magic. The trick with the hybrid strat is you want to add the physical attacks in early, and if you're doing it well, you stop using physical attacks. So when he gets close to that threshold, when he gets close to that 60,000 mark, and you start just using reflected spells at that point to finish him off. You have to make sure that last hit is a reflected spell. It's a way to do it. Now, like I said, this requires a high level because most characters don't learn nuke until above level 50. Let's see, yeah, we're looking at white. Horum learns white at 52. Rosa learns white at 48. Rydia learns nuke at 50. And Palom learns nuke at 52. So, and Rydia actually has the highest XP curve. Every character levels up at a slightly different rate. Rydia's the slowest. So, getting all of those characters, both the spells they need, and also to get them above that HP threshold, takes a lot of work. That's one of the reasons that stuff like using that D-machine grind that I did in the first video is a lot more efficient than something like the egg grind that we did both in the Berserk video and to kind of top ourselves off. D-machine grind, especially if you have a character who is below that threshold, where they're going to get that double XP rate, or especially if you've got 10 key items and can really make use of it. Think about how many levels. You got 25 levels without any of those doublers in place. If you only have one character that's super low level when you do that, you can do what's called a slingshot, where that one character is getting double of that, like 500,000 experience. And they'll jump up above everybody else. Everybody else will be in that 45 range, and they'll be at level 50 something. And doing that with a Rydia or a Cecil, since they can come in the party at level 1, is really, really powerful. Also because they're both very powerful characters that take forever to level up. So yeah. That was how mages work, in a nutshell. Hopefully I covered a lot of what questions people might have had. Hopefully you can kind of see the differences between the characters a little bit. I don't think I talked a ton about Palom and Rydia, which I will take just a moment here to do. Namely, the big reason Palom is good is because he learns Quake at level 23. That is significantly earlier than everyone else. That wasn't really relevant in this run because of the E-Machine jump, where he went from like level 20 to level 40. However, that is like Rydia learns Quake at level 44. Tella doesn't learn Quake. Palom is the one who gets Quake, and it is a very powerful spell that is very useful for that midpoint in the game. Other than that, Palom has, I think, slightly higher hit points, but Rydia learns Nuke earlier than him, learns Weak at the same time as him. Like, for the very end game, Rydia is definitely better. She has better equipment, she has better, I think Palom still technically has better stats, but it's close. It's a lot closer, it doesn't really matter. If she gets good summons early game, she's better than Palom. If not, Palom gets Quake. So, yeah, the other one that actually matters is Warp. Rydia learns Warp at level 12. Palom learns Warp at level 29. So getting that Warp glitch out of Dwarf Castle, if you don't have Palom up to level 29, and you don't have like a Tella or Fusoya that can do it, Rydia can be really good just for getting that Warp through. Little things to consider. So, this has been my two tutorial series. Like I've said multiple times, I am a dedicated casual, not an expert player, not a tournament player by any means. There's a lot going on. I highly suggest, if you're new to this, take a look at and you want to get involved. Start with some easy seeds. I really like the group stage seeds from the most recent tournament, the Highway to the 3 Miss Zone. But there's even easier ones than that. Make sure, if you want, or if you want to, feel free to jump in on Discord. I post these seeds as I make the videos, so you can play through the game and then watch my video afterwards and kind of compare where we made different decisions. I think that's really fun. I've done that a couple times where Puexel will do that. I highly recommend it. If you are getting into it, don't be afraid to use notes. Notes are awesome. I have a printout of several things, and if I need to look something up quick, I do. I need to remind myself of like what level somebody learns a spell, or how many hit points a certain boss spot has. I have a link to my spreadsheet that has all my notes in it. It's like 4 pages to print out. It's not a big deal. There's also a ton of other wikis and other stuff. And honestly, the best way to learn is to play and to just watch some of those good runners, some of the tournament players, and see what decisions they make that you don't. And then sometimes the commentators will be nice enough to tell you why. So, yeah. Free Enterprise is a lot of fun. Randomizers are a lot of fun, and I think this is one of the better randomizers because of the way that it's structured, because of the strategy involved. So, give it a shot if you have any interest. If not, hopefully you at least learned a little something to appreciate watching it a little more. With that, we'll leave you. As always, have a good one, and we'll catch you next time.